It gets harder before it gets easier. If you're looking to have success, if you're looking to make millions of dollars wholesaling real estate, it is going to get harder. This is a hard truth you have to swallow getting in this business. This is a business that is tough. This is a business that is not easy. You're going to have pain. You're going to have to go through suffering before you have success. A lot of people really struggle out here getting started in this business. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go, and they don't know how to get that success. My plea for you watching this is to do the hard work. Take the road less traveled. You have to be extraordinary to become extraordinary. What I mean by this is you have to be extraordinary to get extraordinary results. You have to go above what the average person does. Rich people, they don't sleep 12 hours a day. They don't get up at noon. They also don't get up at 2 a.m. The one thing you'll find with rich people is they just put more hours in. Well, I'll tell you, if you watch this on the weekend, this is a good little lesson for you. But the weekend is 29% of your week. If you're somebody that wants to get the Lambo, the person that wants to retire your mom, you can't take off 29% of the week. That is how you grind. And what I'll tell you is those hours from 10, 11, 12 p.m., those are times you gotta be working too. You gotta work in the mornings and work at night. You know, the early mornings and late nights, that's what it is. Pain is gonna equal success. You're watching this because you do not want to be an ordinary person. You do not want to be like everybody else. You don't want to live like everybody else. So why are you expecting to live like no one else and do what everyone else is doing? It's uncomfortable. I completely get it. When you're getting started in entrepreneurship, your friends look at you a little crazy. They look at you like, whoa, what's up with this guy? Like, what is he up to? What is he doing? This is not in the norm. And probably when you got started wholesaling real estate, maybe you told your mom, told your wife, your girlfriend, whoever about this thing. And they're a little, oh, what's going on here? This seems like a scam. And they're here to protect you, right? When you get into wholesaling real estate, most of the time it's, hey, you can get a lot of money really quick. Just give me $2,000 and I'll get you rich. And your grandma, your mom, they're initially protecting you. Like, hey, don't give the man $2,000 that's gonna promise you to make $50,000 a month. Here's the cool part about wholesaling. I'm not asking you for your money. I'm not asking for it. What I'm trying to tell you is you can make 40 grand a month, don't pay me at all, just work and grind. And this is the scam you're set. There is a price to be paid to become successful. There is a price to be paid to get rich. But that price is never, my friends, your money. It is your time. And for most of you, including me, it's your sanity. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm saying this to get through your brain that pain is success. We are taught from a very young age to avoid pain, to avoid uncomfortability, to avoid standing out or being away from the crowd. Heck, as human beings, we're always told to be in our group, and we want to be like everyone else usually, right? Think of high school. High school, everyone loves to be in the in group, not the out group. And when you look at life and becoming an entrepreneur and making a business, right, you start getting away from the in group, the in circle, right, with your friends who work a regular job. And you start leaving the circle, and you're kind of in this weird deep space where you're not with the really, really cool guys that are working a regular job, and you're not with the millionaire circles. You're kind of in this in between where you're not making any money, you're grinding like crazy, you can't hang out with your working friends anymore, or barely. And it's like you're kind of out with them, but you're out with those people, and you're kind of in this in between stage. And this is your growing, right? You're getting towards the millionaire circles, because those are amazing circles and circles you should be in. But you feel like you're ostracized. You feel like you're alone. And that's the hard part nobody talks about. You go home after driving for dollars for 4 hours, I hate to say it, like your wife can't relate to it. You can't complain to your kids how hard your day is, and you feel alone. And I have Discord communities and chats and all this that can help you out, but it's truly a lonely chapter in your life. And for me, it's one of the best years of my life because that's how I became who I was. That is how I grew the most as a human being. That is how I became the man that I am today. It's what you do when nobody's watching that determines how you're going to be in front of everyone. What I mean by this is, everybody has that dream that they pull up to their high school reunion in the Lamborghini, the sick watch, the awesome chick. And I'm just talking about teenage boys, right? That's what they want. And a lot of that is show-offy, and a lot of that is showing success publicly. When the truth is, usually the man that has all those riches and all the cool things, right? They did that when nobody was watching, when nobody was rooting for them, when nobody was telling them they're doing a good job. They were grinding when no one was watching. And that is the lonely chapter that you have to do. Nobody watches you, nobody's rooting for you, except for yourself and maybe your mom. That's pretty much it. And you're gonna have very, very, very few people supporting you in the beginning before everyone supports you. And it is crazy for me to say this now, and it's been since the beginning. Heck, I remember making YouTube videos about wholesaling real estate getting 2 views. One was my mom, and one was a random stranger. And I'm talking about making 50, 60 grand at 19 years old. And I was happy because I was like, man, 3 people watched my videos. That's pretty dang cool. And eventually, I started showing enough checks on YouTube of $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 deals, and eventually my first $100,000 deal at 21 years old, where people couldn't deny that I was a baller when it comes to wholesaling real estate. Like, they couldn't deny that this 21-year-old kid was a fraud if he keeps showing wholesaling checks. I kept doing that until I started getting deals stolen. But I became a point where you couldn't deny my success. You can say whatever you want. Call me a guru, call me whatever you want. But you can't deny that I grinded my way to the top of where I am. And you can't deny wholesalers that are at that point. And the only way people know that you're legit is by working when no one's watching. Nobody watched me cold calling in my dorm room for 5 hours a day. My roommates, but like, nobody's watching me. I was grinding. I was alone. 5 hours a day, I could have slacked off whenever I wanted to. But that is how I became the man I was, where I don't say no when I make a schedule. When I form something in my mind that I do something, I do it. I don't quit. I don't give up. And that is who I am. That's the same thing I do for you today. You have to go through pain to have success. It gets harder before it gets easier. And what I mean by this is, you're taking a dive into wholesaling right now. You're taking a dive into very scary, uncharted waters for wholesaling. And it's weird. You're working more hours and you're making less money probably. And you're wondering if there's a light to the end of the tunnel, and it's kind of like a roller coaster. You see the light, you dip down into the dark hole, and then you come back and the light's there. And what I mean by this is, you're gonna have a little chapter in your life, maybe a year or two, where you're gonna work harder than you ever did in the rest of your life. Like, it's tough. You're literally burning the candle at both ends here, where you're working your regular job, and now you're working this new side hustle business. You might have a kid, you might have a wife to take care of, a husband, whatever it is, and it's a struggle. It's hard. It's not easy. It's tough. And you feel like giving up. And most people do give up when they feel like they can't go anymore. And the truth about wholesaling entrepreneurship is, like, the work goes up, up, up. It gets harder and harder and harder, and eventually get to a point where the work goes down and you start making more money. And the problem is, most people quit right before they get to that point. And what I'm telling you is, do not quit. Do not give up. You are so close, and it's gonna get a little harder. You just have to put that on your shoulders, because eventually you get to a point where it's never harder anymore, and it only gets easier. And you start making more money, you start cracking the code of what works in your market, you find the lists that start working, and you finally make the cash, you finally make that breakthrough, and your life gets easier. I hate to tell you, but this is a formula that I've had for the past 4 years, ever since I created my free course for Wholesaling.com. where with over 250,000 active students, a lot of it's kind of the repeat, right? Mark Twain always says, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And every success story I have, like big, massive success stories, it always gets hard, it gets harder, it gets harder, and eventually they crack the code, they start making 10K a month and 20, 30, 40. They get a team and they're working less and they're making more money than ever. But of course, the first $20,000, $30,000 is the hardest. But once you get to that point, it only gets easier. And so you're gonna be in grind mode right now. You're gonna be in hustle mode. It's not easy. And frankly, it's not fun. But this is where you're made. This is where you're tested. This is where you show your true colors. And a lot of people say they're willing to do whatever it takes for success until they get tested. A lot of people are willing to go to battle, to go to war. A lot of men that say, I'll beat you up, until they get in that ring and they gotta fight. And you have to figure out what type of man, what type of woman are you? Are you that type of person to say, you know what? I'm going all in. I have no other option. I tell people time and time again, you cannot afford not to get into wholesaling. If you are so sick of being broke, you have no other option. You have nowhere to go. You cannot afford not to pull the probates. You can't afford anymore not to drive for dollars. You can't afford not to make a schedule. You don't have any money. You don't have the luxury of being a lazy bum. You don't have the luxury. You can't afford to sleep in. You can't afford this. Your kids can't afford this. You have to make a change. But people don't decide to make a change until they have to. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I hope today I spark something in you to say, hey, I don't want to live like this anymore. I know it's going to get harder. I accept it. Be a man. This is it. It's all sunshine and rainbows. It's all cupcakes and unicorns. You are going to have to accept that it's not fun. You are going to have to accept that you have to work hard. You have to accept that you will suffer. There will be pain. But once you accept this, and once you say, Roger that, and go through the struggle, I cannot tell you how many people listen to David Goggins on repeat and then go tell me how hard cold calling is. I'm not telling you to run 15, 20 miles and get punched in the face. I'm telling you to go out here and sit on a nice cozy chair in the air conditioning and just talk to people and see if they want to sell their house. You will make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on one wholesaling deal by doing this. But you'll go out here and give me an excuse. I had one guy tell me, Zach, I live in Atlanta, but sellers won't take me serious because I'm Hispanic. Oh boy, that lit a fire in me. Because I instantly go back to the last 15 Hispanic dudes I made millionaires through wholesaling real estate. And it's so crazy to me that people go out here and just try to make this, and it's funny, I'm not blaming this guy, and if you watch my Sunday live streams, you see this. Someone legit told me this. Like, I'm Hispanic, no one's gonna take me serious, I can't do it. I'm like, do you know how many Hispanic men have become millionaires in the past week? Think about wholesaling real estate. The amount of Hispanic men I've made millionaires is insane. The amount of excuses, and I'm not exposing this guy or saying anything bad, but like the amount of excuses your brain makes of not to work hard are comical. Like it's funny to me because nothing is going to stop you. If you are a man or a woman right now and you have air in your lungs and you can speak English, there is nothing stopping you from making 6 figures or 7 figures next year or this year. There is nothing stopping you. Whatever you look like, I can find somebody who looks like you that makes way more money than you, sound like you, as tall as you, I don't care. Accents, whatever it is. I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart. There is nothing stopping you from success. We have people with super thick accents from everywhere in the world getting rich. I don't know what your excuse is. There are people who are deathly scared to talk to sellers that overcome this fear over time. This is all about believing in yourself. The excuses I hear from people make me laugh, but you have to decide that you are going to be a warrior for yourself and your family. Your bloodline is counting on you. You are the chosen one in your family. There's been long generational curses of your family not making money, not having success, never, ever getting ahead in life. You ever hear people say, I just can't get ahead? Your family has probably had generations of this. And you are the chosen one who can make the change. This is something where you have no choice. You have a choice. Choose to grind. Choose to have pain. There has never been a millionaire who is self-made that earned it that did not go through the same journey. They literally call it the hero's journey. When Marvel Studios goes and tries to create the new Deadpool or the new Spider-Man movie, when they think about the superhero, it's called the superhero arc, where the superhero has a backstory. They go through, guess what? Struggle, pain, suffering. There's usually some sensei or trainer that teaches them when they're really, really beginning and bad, and they get better, and they have a villain, and the villain beats them up, and they come back and win it at the end of the day, and they save the world, right? It's how we all love superheroes, right? A lot of people love their Spider-Man, their Hulk, their Batman, their Bane, all these things. Your favorite superhero had to go through the craziest suffering ever, and you idolize the superhero. And I love superheroes, by the way, too. But every hero in every story, once you realize this is crazy, they go through the same exact thing. Struggle, the villain defeats them a little bit, they come back and save the day. And it's so funny that you guys will idolize these Superman, you'll idolize your Marvel, you'll absolutely go crazy for the Avengers, which I love the Avengers, by the way. But like, you guys watch the movies and you see your characters struggle, and you see them overcome the struggle by working hard, and you say, oh, I don't want to work hard. You literally have to be a superhero for your family, and if you have kids, you are the superhero. They look up to you. So if you're a superhero, of course you have to suffer. Don't be the superhero that just goes through nothing bad in life. You have to suffer. That is the point. When you decide to be a superhero, when you decide to make a change, when you decide, yeah, there's going to be suffering, there's going to be training, but I'm going to overcome this. That's when you make the change. So accept suffering, accept it's going to hurt, accept it's not going to be fun. But every single millionaire in wholesaling real estate that's self-made has gone through the same exact thing as you. So you might feel alone, but I'm telling you the honest truth. You are not alone. I went through this, Rick went through this, and every other millionaire in wholesaling went through the same exact struggle, the sleepless nights, the excitement, the fear, everything getting stolen, the deals getting stolen, and finally the check, your first 100K, your first $1 million and more. It is a simple, repeatable process. And again, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Everyone who has had at least $1 million in assignment fees have gone through the same arc. There's always a reason why you want to get in this business, a lot of struggling, the first deal, the second deal, and eventually 10K a month, 20K, 30K, and to millions of dollars. It's a repeatable story because it's a hero's arc. You're the hero to your own story. And it's going to suck. There's going to be villains. You're going to have your Banes, your Jokers, but you're going to overcome it. But the last key point here to overcome it is believing. Do you think when Spider-Man went against the Green Goblin, he didn't believe he could beat up the villain? Batman believes he can beat up the villain before he beats the villain up. Your hero doesn't be like, oh, I don't think I can get him. If you don't believe you can beat the other guy up, you ain't gonna beat him up because you're mentally out of it. And so if you have the villain, which is crippling debt or anxiety or not becoming rich, if you don't believe in yourself that you can defeat that, you're done. You are out for the count. There's nothing you can do to become successful. You have to believe. And if you don't believe, you are done. So you're in a fight. You're in a fight for survival for your success. And you actually have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe when you talk to a seller that you and your partner or cash buyer can actually buy the house. You have to believe that you're going to get the deal. You believe that you're the man, you're the woman. You believe you can be the person. You are the person that will change your family's life. Start believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, the seller ain't going to believe in you. Ooh, Rick said that the other day, and oh, that lit a fire in me. And that's why I'm having this talk to you. I'm going to leave this with you. If you do not believe in yourself, talking to the seller, how is the seller ever going to believe in you? Think about that really hard. Believe you can buy their house, and the seller will believe you, and you'll get the deal. Guys, pain is inevitable. Pain and suffering is a part of life. You will not go through life unscathed. Unfortunately, family members will pass away. Bad things will happen. But it's what happens and the joy of life that makes it worth living. So go out here and make a change of your life. Tomorrow's never promised. But glory is forever changing your family's life. So go out here, believe in yourself, and you'll go out here and become rich and successful. Guys, this is Zach signing out. I just wanted to make this message because I feel like you have to start believing in yourself. And if you do not believe in yourself, your seller's not going to believe in you. They're not going to believe you can buy their house. So actually start making a change. Belief is the confidence. And confidence is a belief in the words you say and the actions you do. Guys, go to freewholesaling.com. It's my free real estate wholesaling course. And like always, I'll see you soon. This is Zach signing out. Have a blessed one.